I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm like, this makes me twice as sad. No pun intended. What's up? It's Truth Hero, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter review. Boku no Hero Academia chapter 266 of the manga. Really, there's only one thing to talk about here, and that's Twice's legacy. So we'll explain what actually goes down in this chapter, how he died, but really we'll focus on the possibilities for the story, for the villains, and for the heroes moving forward, because even in his death, the villains could actually find a way because of this to grow stronger and to get out of their current situation. So let's jump in. First off, this chapter is called A Happy Life. I'm glad for Twice, but how about a sad chapter? The chapter opens with Hawks and Dabi facing off, and Hawks is able to recover a bit and dodge his attacks while still holding on to Twice. Hawks' face is actually a bit beat up and maybe burned from Dabi's boot, so perhaps after this fight, if Hawks survives, he'll have a scar to match Endeavor. Hawks tells Dabi, listen, your colleague here was almost burned by your attack. What are you doing? And Dabi's like, psh, that's okay, because I know you got that life-saving hero instinct. What? Dabi does not care. I mean, he does care about Twice, but what an absolute savage thing to do. This really speaks to how much of a rogue player Dabi is within the League of Villains and his quote-unquote friends. Personally, I'm just glad that Dabi's attack didn't actually burn Twice and contribute to his ultimate fate in this chapter, because he would have probably had to answer to Toga, and especially Shigaraki. Dabi tells Hawks, I didn't trust you from the very beginning, and I do believe this is true. Dabi isn't just blowing smoke here. You can tell this from the interactions between Dabi and Hawks, or even just Dabi and his own League of Villains members. He's wary of even them. He didn't tell Shigaraki his true name, and I know that might set up the whole Toyo Todoroki thing, but he's not too chummy with people. He's not really friendly like Twice is. So you could just tell that Dabi never accepted Hawks as a villain. He always was watching him and was looking out for his own good, and that's what he always does. He just looks out for numero uno, Dabi. So I definitely think that Dabi always knew something was suspicious about Hawks. I wonder if he's going forward gonna feel guilty for what happened to Twice because he didn't act on it sooner. It's clear that Dabi never accepted Hawks, even when he delivered Best Jeanist in some state to his doorstep. Dabi was always like, I don't trust Birdman. I'm just waiting for my opportunity to get some fried chicken. One thing that's always captivated me about Hawks is that he's able to keep up the chatter in the fight. He doesn't have to talk to Dabi here. He doesn't have to say, oh yeah, you never trusted me? He doesn't have to talk to Twice here. He could just do his mission. We know internal monologues are a huge part of anime when someone's really thinking to themselves in a fight, and we do get a great one here, but it's almost like Hawks enjoys this back and forth in the heat of battle, like he's a thrill seeker or something, and maybe that could be one of his weaknesses. As Hawks is sort of recollecting himself after Dabi's attack, he thinks to himself, I'm in a bit of a pickle here. My flaming wings and charred feathers are less powerful, but Twice is also weakened. He did avoid major damage to his vital organs, so he's still alive and he's still a problem, and maybe this is where Hawks says, I gotta take him out. I love how we get this inside look into the mind of a hero in the heat of battle, and it's great that it's Hawks as well, but again, Hawks takes way too long thinking here. Twice kind of goes behind him with a clone and then holds him to slow him down and shouts to Dabi, burn it! Great teamwork here. Dabi shoots his flames here, and we get slight proof that Twice is once again unraveled, because as the flames go near Twice and even hit him, he says, it's cold, noting that split personality where he says the opposite things. It's also another example of Dabi not really caring about Twice, even though Twice ordered him to do this. You gotta wonder, this time Dabi's flames did singe Twice, so is he responsible for Twice being weakened, and at the end of this chapter, of course, dying? You also have to question, is Twice willing to sacrifice himself in this moment just to get rid of Hawks? Because he knows Hawks is so much of a threat, maybe he doesn't care what happens to him, so long as Hawks is out of the picture, then his friends can survive. We know that Twice eventually does this at the end of the chapter where he sacrifices himself because he knows Hawks is right behind him trying to get him, and he doesn't care and he saves his friends with the clone. But I wonder if at this moment, Twice is also trying to do the same thing and trying to make sure Hawks doesn't, harm anyone else. Dabi says if you only have one hero, it's not that hard to get rid of one hero. He encourages Twice to get up and tries to calm him down right before he blasts Hawks again with his flames. Or so we think. Hawks does this amazing move where he somehow gets behind Dabi and Twice after Dabi assumes he's basically fried chicken and comes in through the balcony door and entrance and takes his feather sword and begins slashing these clones that Twice is making. Now, Twice is creating them just to stall because he's focused on one clone that's trying to save Toga and Mr. Compress, which we'll talk about in a bit. But he slashes through these doubles, takes his feather sword, and ends the villain Twice. Also, there's this amazing subtlety here by Horikoshi where it's a single panel that shows blood flying up and splattering, and in the middle of it is the handkerchief that Toga gave Twice. It's kind of floating there. What a great touch. Let's back it up to right before when Hawks ends Twice. He comes out of the smoke, and Dabi turns around towards him, and in a fit of rage, perhaps for being deceived by this trick, begins to shoot flames at him and yells, "Takami Keigo!" And Hawks thinks to himself, what? How do you know my name? Just, what is this guy? Who is this man? Now correct me if I'm wrong, which I usually am, but unless Dabi somehow read the Ultra Analysis book in our universe, how does he know Hawks' real name, Takami Keigo? This name has never been mentioned in the manga, at least not by a character saying it or writing it or someone reading it on the internet. So how does Dabi know Hawks' name that's not public information? Comment below. Now, I of course have some theories. There's two major possibilities I see here. One is that Dabi, and perhaps with the help of Skeptic and maybe someone from Toga's Carmine Intelligence, actually hacked into Hero Agency computers and learned the roster of the heroes that are preparing for this raid, and their real names, something that normally heroes keep secret and internally amongst themselves. The only problem with this is if you learned all this information about the impending raid on your facilities, why not prepare? Because as we saw, the villains were totally surprised by this. Now there's a bit of a caveat to this. Dabi isn't necessarily a good representation of the Paranormal Liberation Front or the ideals of the League of Villains. We've known that he's a rogue player forever now, and like we saw in this chapter, he never trusted Hawks. So it's possible that he by himself went out looking for background information on Hawks and somehow found his real name. Maybe he dug through police reports and found the accident where Hawks actually saved people. That's possible. I know the government went to great lengths to train Hawks and probably erase that information, but there's always a market for stuff like that. So perhaps Dabi, in trying to gain some background information and really just see if Hawks is truly a villain or if he's pretending to be one, came across this. Number 2, Hawks worked closely with Endeavor, so perhaps as a symbol of trust and the bond between them as heroes, he told Endeavor his real name. If there was one hero that Dabi might want information on, might want to keep tabs on, who would that hero be? It would be Endeavor. So perhaps Dabi, with the help of Skeptic, hacked the Endeavor Hero Agency just as a curiosity to Dabi, aka Toyosatomimi, and stumbled upon the fact that Endeavor knows Hawks' real name, and he probably should have never written that on a computer. But it's more fuel to the fire that Dabi is in fact Toyosatomimi. So perhaps, in trying to spy on his father, he got lucky. Twice then starts to rush and protect everyone, and begins reflecting on his life. And we know this is Twice's last stand. My life used to mean nothing. This is it. It's falling down. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. Oh, Twice. But really, I like this. This is the perfect ending for Twice. Protecting his friends until the very end. If you think about it, nothing else really mattered to Twice. They were really the only ones that cared for him and the only thing that he cared about. Twice just wanted his entire life to find his true identity and somewhere he belonged. And that was right with his friends in the League of Villains. So to Twice, sacrificing his life to save his friends, that's worth it. That's worth it to be the purpose of his life. Beautiful. We then see Twice save Toga and Mr. Compress from this pro hero, and he explains to them, listen, I can't go with you. Right now, my true form is struggling just to keep this me alive, and in saving you both, I got hit by hawks. We then get the perfect conclusion and parallel for the Twice story to come to a close. Toga-chan, you also got a scar on your cute face. I'll give you a handkerchief. I can't do anything now. I'm sorry until the end. I spent my life wandering and met people better than myself. I wonder if there's a better life than this. 'Cause it was pretty good with you guys. Wow, what a perfect way to end this. What do you guys think of the way Twice goes out here? Personally, I love the fact that there's this parallel of Twice giving Toga a handkerchief, and then as she realizes what's about to happen, she hugs Twice as he's disappearing and says, "Thank you for saving me." And you kind of get the feeling that if this was in any other context of a huge impending battle, maybe Toga could have learned a lesson from this and maybe reformed her life. I'm not saying become a hero, but definitely don't go down the same path of villainy and become lost like Twice was in the end. So, anyway, leave your comments on this and your thoughts and appreciation for Twice down below. And may you rest in peace, Jin. Okay, good feelings over. Twice was still a villain till the very end, and as he's hugging Toga, he also thinks, "I hope you die, Hawks." And to his friends, "I hope I wasn't too much trouble and bad luck for basically bringing this upon you guys. So, I am here, and I am happy." There is so much that Twice's death means for the future of the story in My Hero Academia, and especially these coming chapters. So let's break down all the possibilities and the ones that are really my favorite. Twice's passing will undoubtedly light a fire under the villains. I mean, if you thought they would go quietly into the night and just surrender to the heroes, think again. And speaking of fire, Dabi will unleash on Hawks. I mean, he's already pursuing him. I don't see how in the next couple of chapters, Dabi doesn't take out Hawks. He's already fighting him, and yeah, it might be one hell of a fight, but Dabi's going to kill Hawks. I don't see any other way. We know the story of Icarus. We're all familiar with the myth, okay? He's flying too close to the sun. His wings are already charred from this battle. I mean, Hawks has nothing more to do than to lie down and die. He's falling from the sky. The only thing that actually could save Hawks here is Endeavor somehow making his way over from the hospital to the mansion. And if that's the case, and Endeavor does stop Hawks from dying and confronts Dabi, then hey, I'm all for it because we get that Toyo Todoroki backstory that we're all waiting for. The second thing is something that's always looming in the background, and that's Shigaraki. Now, he's not ready to be woken from his slumber yet, but even if he did prematurely come out of that coma, he'd have a lot of power and insane quirks. The problem is that we know Shigaraki's quirk awakened when he suffered trauma and had to sort of conquer his past and when he was in a dire situation. If you say, "Hey Shigaraki, the heroes are at our door, go fight them," that's one thing, but if you say, Shigaraki, by the way, they killed Twice after he trusted them, and yeah, we lost our friend. I mean, come on, I don't want to fight that. I don't think Deku could even fight Shigaraki at that point right now. So maybe this won't happen because I don't see Deku actually fighting Shigaraki at this point in the story. But man, this could be the catalyst that just sets the villains ablaze and really gets them to move against the heroes. Number 3 is perhaps the best theory here, and I might have to make a different video about this because it's that insane if it happens. Yes, Hawks was right in confronting Twice. He is a huge threat. He can make a one-man army of himself. So he was right in trying to stop him and take him down. But you didn't go after the girl that could take people's blood, copy their appearance, and use their quirk? Oh, you didn't know about Toga-chan's awakened quirk? Well, let me tell you, heroes. See, you missed this one. Toga is Twice's friend, and she's gonna wonder where Twice actually is. She wants to go mourn the loss of him. And after Dabi maybe defeats Hawks, maybe the villains will come together and see Twice lying there. Toga's gonna pick up that real handkerchief, and it's covered in Twice's real blood. If she gets access to his blood, then she'll copy Twice's appearance and his quirk and become a one-man or one-woman army. Also, if Toga can somehow, while using Twice's quirk, also use her quirk, meaning every Twice soldier that she creates has her power as well, then she can take villains that are lying on the ground and get their quirks, or defeat heroes and get their quirks. I mean, who would have thought that the Paranormal Liberation Front would defeat an army of heroes with an army of clone heroes? This is sounding like Star Wars. Attack of the Clones, Attack of Toga, Attack of Twice and Toga. That's a good move. I wonder what that would be called. Lover's Parade. I have to make a different video about this. But that is insane. Let me know in the comments if Toga could perhaps be the one to create the army. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I know it was a long video and thanks for hanging in there, but I really had to flesh out all these possibilities now that Twice is gone. So let me know down below in the comments, what will Dabi do to Hawks? What will Toga do with Twice? And of course, show some love for Deadpool down below in the comments. If you guys like My Hero Academia content and these chapter reviews, consider enrolling at UA today by subscribing, and tap that bell so you never miss a lecture. Until next time, plus ultra. Can't believe he's gone.